Taurus, this is your weekly oracle and tarot card reading from Born Without Boundaries. The tarot card reading is in the extended, so that link is in the description box below. Please do join me. This is for Taurus, Sun, Moon, Rising, or wherever Taurus energy, because this is an energy reading, so it's wherever Taurus energy influences your life, including if you're dealing with a Taurus. Taurus, you are working on something, and I've been getting this vibe for a while. That you are keeping something under wraps. You're definitely, it's almost like sleight of hand in a way. It's like, yeah, you're letting people believe what they want to believe on the surface. It's almost like going with the flow, like everything is okay. And not just everything is okay, but like maintaining the status quo on the surface while you're working on something that it's a little bit risque, a little bit impractical. So there's a two-part reason why you're keeping it to yourself or keeping things under wraps right now, in that it makes you feel safer because you can continue to work on it, and there is a great deal of joy and excitement around this, whatever you're working on, whether it's a relationship or a project or a new business, whatever you're working on. There's a sense of wanting to keep quiet about it, but also having a great deal of enthusiasm about it, and being really like loving just living in that great deal of enthusiasm right now, as opposed to having to have it tested or hear other people's criticisms about it. Like, you just don't want that kind of crap in your life right now. What you want is just to enjoy this beautiful moment where there's nothing but potential. And there is a lot of potential, and you can feel it. And there is that sense that you know that, see, because you have a really high standard of perfection. So you know that for whatever reason, this isn't up to a point where it could be tested and be criticized and take the bullets. So there is a sense of wanting to keep it under wraps until it's strong enough for that, that kind of scrutiny. But it's also a wonderful pleasure for you, you know, to almost feel like you have the upper hand, you have a great deal of control over this circumstance by not allowing people access or the privilege of participating. There is this sleight of hand. That's what I keep getting, this sense of, I'm going to show you one thing and be doing something else. So I don't get that it is to manipulate somebody, but I do think it is to maintain the upper hand. And how is that different? I think it's different just because if you expose, it's like a poker game. You're trying to play to win, and exposing your hand will mean that you don't win, you know. And so you're keeping your hand to yourself while trying to use your strategy to the best of your ability to predict the other player's moves, or predict, just sit back and watch what will happen on the outside. You are very guarded right now about this precious thing that you are so excited about. And that's what's wonderful about this situation. I want to say it is a little bit odd for you. You have been majorly impacted by Uranus's visit to your house, right? So there is a sense of doing something outside of the box that may be impractical or just different for you in order to advance your career or make more money. Be more inspired to try things that are not typical. And that's not typically you. You are typically maintain the standards, maintain the status quo. But there is a sense of really being experimental right now and enjoying it, and really not wanting to let anybody else in on it. But you are definitely working on something, and there's a lot of excitement and hype around it. There is also that sense of not feeling like you'd be really completely understood, and not really fitting into those criteria that have been set up for you, that you know that you might lose a lot of benefits, you might lose a lot of resources, you know, if you openly stepped outside of the box. But it's not because you haven't accepted that what's outside of the box is more fascinating for you. It's because you know that there is still like a game that you have to play on the outside to keep the resources coming in. And it has to do with resources. You know, it's almost like you know, let my parents believe what they want to believe just so they keep, you know, paying my tuition or something like, you know, not to say that you're a college student, but to say that that's almost a sense of, yeah, I know, but it's not just lying to them. I don't think there's any lying at all. But I do think there is a sense of not disclosing, like there's no full disclosure here. You are still getting things done. You are still meeting your obligations. You are still, it is still very important to you to fulfill any promises or expectations that other people have of you. And that's why I think this is so precious. This moment in your life where you can have something that is, hold on, entirely your own. And it's like, and you don't have to share it, and you don't have to justify it. It's not even just about sharing it, because this is something that you are very excited about and you would love to share. But it's about not having to justify it or explain it to anybody. And that wonderful freedom. And eventually you know that you will have to. And you know that you will want to make this official. And you know, you also know that it's risky. I can say that right now. You also know that it's risky, but for some reason you feel like you have the upper hand here. Hold on. So you know that you're going to surprise a lot of people, because you know that this is not something that you would have ever expected from you. And I don't see this as like a springing divorce papers on somebody. Like that's not what I see. I don't think it's not like this. It could very well be having taken money, having been saving money, that people thought you were spending on one thing when you were really saving it or doing something else with it. I don't feel like there's shadiness here. There's just mystery around it. Like, and you are going to shock the shit out of everybody. You really are. What do I feel? Because this is the channeled message for you, Taurus. It's almost at 2 months, that's what I got. That the exposure of this, or your preparedness to be able to discuss it, is maybe 2 months out. There's something about 2, and 2 could just imply that there's still a sense of imbalance, trying to get your sea legs on about this, trying to balance out the financial aspects of it and see how can I make this work. And I don't want to take the chance, really not wanting to take the chance until you know you're financially sound, which is you. You know, it's 100%. It's not like you're abandoning yourself and all of a sudden you're not Taurus anymore. No, you definitely want to be sure that it's not going to touch your finances, right? And in fact, the finances that you're using for this, you may surprise people with how you're using it, but it is something that you put away. It's something that you prepared for. I know there's a lot of breaks. I apologize. And part of the surprise, the level of the people. Now, what is this? We're going to get into the reading, and definitely, I feel like it's more of a project than it is a love affair. Even though, like I said, it is depending upon you and your personal criteria, but there is definitely something that you've been working on and you've been keeping under wraps, and you do expect this to go really, really well, and people will not expect this coming from you. You will surprise people. You are a little bit afraid, I will say this right now, of disappointing specific people. And the disappointment in them will come from A, being left out of this process, feeling like you couldn't tell them. And B, it will come from you diverging from the place that they expected you to be at. You know, there is a sense of their security being shaken. And I do see a little bit of an ego coming through. I also see ultimately, as long as you include them moving forward, them coming around. Because it's a big part of, especially if you're dealing with a person specifically, there's a sense of them wanting to be part of the decision-making process. And if they get angry, it's because they weren't, or they don't feel like they were, and they aren't. They aren't part of the decision-making process. But once you help them understand, Taurus, that it really was about you needing the emotional space, because if you constantly felt their expectations on you, you would have felt very, you would have not been able to do it. You needed the secrecy in order to get done what you were going to get done. And now maybe this is a sense of, I could suggest this to you, especially if you're dealing with a specific person, break it to them first before you break it to everyone. Do not let them know it when the crowd knows it. Let them know it beforehand, so that, especially if you love them. If you don't give a fuck what they think, who cares? But I think you do care what either a specific person or a specific group of people think. So before you unveil it publicly, don't make them part of the public. Definitely make them special, so that you're incorporating them before everybody else. That, I think, is the difference between the win and the lose here with this very personal situation. So here you have being very protected, being very guarded, as well as feeling emotionally burdened, a great deal of hiding yourself, defending yourself. So this is very unbalanced Cancerian energy, hiding yourself so much, taking on the burden externally to keep people out, and building unhealthy boundaries. So in this case, it's usually building boundaries that are too thick and too high and too heavy, so that it's crushing you and you're feeling crushed, and that's just not the way that you want to feel. There's a lot of burdens on you right now, Taurus, and that's what I can tell by this card. A burden maybe to continue on and provide and to make money, because there is an abundance of, this is your energy, financial abundance. So there's a lot of blessings that are coming your way, or a lot of opportunities that have come out in your life, but there is still this sense of, but I want freedom. I want to be able to be the one that is making the decisions. I want freedom in how I make money. I don't want to feel like I have to be burdened by going and doing the same thing every day, or doing the expected thing. And that's why I think that was the inspiration for trying to break free of the burden and the obligation that was just sort of either being the blessing for everybody else, or you know, maintaining the routine for everybody else, or bringing home the bacon, or in this case the beef. Bringing home the resources. You know, this is definitely that sense of something coming and opening up, like a breakthrough happening. And it's got to do with, because this is Aquarius energy, which is ruled by Uranus. It had to do with Uranus coming and visiting you for so long, and sort of helping you break outside of the box, and making you realize you were capable of things outside the box. You were capable of doing other things. You don't have to stay in that structure. Your miracles actually extend beyond that. And this is that practical work that you were putting in. You know, it's like putting in the time and committing to the future, believing that you could do this step by step. This is Virgo energy. So it's the energy of cultivating. You've been cultivating something, as well as storing up resources for the future so that you had them. And you really have been just believing that you could do this. And it's taken a lot of energy for you to believe that you could do this. And you were just so driven by this beautiful sense of inspiration that you felt in this new relationship, or this new partnership, or this new project that you were working on. You were fully focused, fully forward focused. And I don't know if you're dealing with an Aquarius or you're dealing with a Leo, but there is a sense of dealing with a fixed energy, with something that either, first of all, that you have confidence. You have confidence in the future that you're building. That's how it influences you and impacts you. But now you may also have confidence that somebody else that you're dealing with will be able to come along with you. You have more confidence in them than you did have, because I know that you've been struggling with a particular person. So there is a sense of you have a lot more confidence and you see that they've come a long way, or now you have more hope that there is a future, right? That they'll be able to come along. But this is also a sense of dealing with really fixed energy here with Leo and Uranus. So where is the sun? The sun is in Leo and Uranus is still in Taurus. So there is a wonderful sense of a strength in character, a strength in yourself, and a really strong belief in all the crazy new ideas that you've been coming up with. You're just super psyched about them. And so you've been laying the groundwork for them. But once again, they are outside the box and you will be surprising people with this stuff. There is a wonderful sense of finally being able to build with somebody else too. So if you have been having that conflict of should I let them go or should I stay, there is a sense of I can stay, I can do this, the way forward is very clear. Take a leap of faith comes next. Also a great lucky card. So there is a sense of, and this is Taurus energy again, so a leap of faith in the future. Having a lot of confidence in the future and what the future holds and what you see, and planning, intentionally planning or seeing way in front of you, not just the future. It's just like having a larger mile radius that you're expanding to and loving it. There is a gentle, grounded confidence in this energy, also a loving energy, a sense that this if you're dealing with a person in particular, they will be able to come along for the ride with you. And then of course we have use your mind wisely. Okay, when pigs fly, and this is how I know there's a huge surprise coming. Something that you never anticipated or nobody else ever anticipated, all of a sudden breaking through. Like, this is a great mystery, a veil, the unknown, the unknown. So right now, you may actually get a surprise of your lifetime, because you may realize, especially if you're dealing with a Leo or an Aquarius, there is a sense of somebody finally coming through for you, somebody finally getting their shit together. So this is a great sense of hope. And maybe it was because you just took a leap of faith in them, and seeing that they needed so desperately to see that you still believed in them. That leap of faith did everything to turn things around. This is still undisclosed. This is a mystery. Trust in the mystery. Trust in the things that you can't see. Trust in the things that you can't control, because there is a lot that still is in process. And just because it's in process doesn't mean, like, it's good. It's good that it's still in process. And yeah, it is still more vulnerable while it's in process. But it is a wonderful momentum behind this, Taurus, where you can really depend on things going the right way, like actually achieving the impossible. It's only impossible until it isn't. And you're riding it out until it isn't. And that's what's so wonderful about your devotion right now, that you're not focused on the volatility. You're not focused on all the you're taking care of the details. And I think that keeping it under wraps has helped you, but you're also not focused on that. What you're focused on is the goal. It's the goal. It's the vision. That's what there's so much momentum towards. So I can't necessarily say right now, congratulations, because the good stuff hasn't come to be yet. It's still forming, but it's definitely on its way. Now, these were the interesting set of cards that popped out face up, and they made me realize that everything is still in the works. Open to infinite possibility is in reverse, and this is Aquarius energy again. So, but it's in reverse. So there is a sense of shutting things down, closing things down, not wanting any more to come to you, or closing yourself off to options. And then there is that sense of sweet results await. This is more Leo energy, Aquarius, Leo energy, both in reverse. So there was holding you back. Like there was so much more work to do on things that were status quo, like being really bogged down on things that were normal or were expected. And then this came out on top of it. And this is transcending and changing, and a change is upon you. So you really being set right now, as bats are, to take flight away from this really unbalanced and non-progressive fixed energy, because you're a fixed sign too. There's a sense of getting unstuck from the same old ideas and the same old routines, being able to transcend that. And I've got to say, it's definitely been 100% about Uranus has actually pushed you to get out of your comfort zone and really enjoy the idea of getting out of your comfort zone. And it's that wonderful feeling of just being free and remembering, because bat spirit, a rebirth is assured. Bats always have wings from the time they're born. They're not like butterflies, even though this is a cocoon card. This is a cocoon shape, right? So it's like you were becoming, you were getting prepared. But bats always have wings. They're not like caterpillars, right? They don't have to change into something to have wings. They have wings. So you have always had these wings. You're just learning to fly them now. And that is what's so exceptional, is that you're actually finding that courage to use your full self. So let's get into the angel messages, Taurus. Also, there is a sense of peace. Ooh, whatever was stalled or stuck. If you were dealing with a person who was stalled and stuck, and like sort of stuck in their old routines, stuck in their old ways, stuck in their mindset, or in some ways just not making progress, they're the ones that are coming around. And it will surprise you. And but simultaneously, it will also make you feel completely liberated and free and so happy, because you didn't want to leave this person behind. But you knew in some ways that you were going to have to. If it came down to them and you were going to choose yourself, which is wonderful. Which is wonderful. Peace is the first card that came out. So these are your angel messages, and I'll always be sharing these with you, Taurus, from now on. No matter where you are or what you're doing, inner peace is always possible. All it takes is a subtle shift in awareness. Think love and peace will follow. And what did I say? You've always had these wings. It's just shifting your awareness so that you can use them. That's what it is. So think love, and there was just this leap of faith that you had to take. And I think that's what the leap of faith was about. This sense of your leap of faith has really paid off, because you realize that you didn't have to solve somebody's problems for them. And that they're, in other words, leaving them behind, like, in other words, focusing on yourself and leaving them to take care of their own issues was exactly what they needed, right? There was that return to balance, where you would normally have imbalanced things even more by trying to overcompensate. This time around, you did what was unexpected, which was, I'm just going to do me. I'm just going to do me. I'm going to move in the direction that I need to go and let you watch me. There was that leap of faith, having to believe that somebody was going to be okay without you. No matter where you are or what you're doing, inner peace is always possible. The huge burden that you put on yourself to be able to be maybe the sole provider, or the person that is the place that all the resources come from. It's like that burden had to go, and that's what you got rid of. And I think that's why you can finally use your wings now. Achievement came out. I'm looking right at it. Take a little time to reflect on what you have achieved to date. It is often easy to forget where you started from and how far you've come. Honor and be grateful for this extraordinary journey that is your life. So if you are having a little fear, or you don't know the outcome of what will come next, remember that the truth is, this is not the first time that you've taken a leap of faith. This is not the first time that you have taken a chance on something that seemed ridiculous. Maybe you haven't done it in a while because you have been doing very well, or the status quo has been easier to maintain, but there is a sense of allowing yourself to understand that you remember that you have taken risks before and that they have paid off. Now you have sacred knowledge. Close your eyes and focus on your breath. Feel the peace within. Beyond your thoughts lies your eternal truth. I am the I am presence of eternal love. Beyond your thoughts lies your eternal truth. Really trusting in that gut feeling. Knowing this is going to work out. And knowing that it's worth it just to experience. See, I don't think you're doing this. In other words, what angels are saying is, you're not doing this for the money. You're not doing this for the income. You're not doing this to be able to achieve greater stability. In other words, the really eccentric aspect of this project is that you're doing it for different reasons. You're not doing it for the traditional reasons. It's like that presence of that your quirky Uranus presence in Taurus for so long has made you realize the abundance in other reasons to do things. And so this isn't about, well, will I get the pay at the end? This is not about, well, what will be the returns? The returns are the process, are the pleasure and enjoyment of just being able to participate. And it's not like some stupid participation award, because for you, it's not about winning or losing. You're winning just because you're engaging in something that you normally wouldn't, and it's so exciting and wonderful. Oh my God, this is great. Kindness. A kind gesture rekindles your belief in the power of love. Remember to be kind to yourself. So there is a turnaround in your life of somebody who maybe you felt you were taking a great deal of hits from. But there is that relief of a burden that has come from them treating you differently. And you really needed it because you were suffering. Think global. Wow. I mean, this is big. This is big. You are being encouraged to spread your wings. Think outside the square. And I've been using that language this whole time, and this card just came out. This is how accurate and amazing these angel cards always are. Think outside the square. You are a citizen of the world. Expand your vision. Imagine the world within your heart. Embrace it. Surround it with love. Let it be, and so it will be. Somebody's random act of kindness for you has been what has inspired you to be different. Try behaving different. You are ready to spread your wings and fly. Like literally, flight is upon you. Let's go into tarot and see where you're going to fly to. The link is in the description box below. I'll see you guys over there.